Good evening, folks. Once again, we are live and up and running. So let's get everything loaded up and switched over, and we will resume Dyson Sphere program. All right, let's put the BGM playlist on. Have that going in the background. How's everybody doing? What's up, Red Dragon? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a decent evening. Evening for you, right? Late evening. All right. It has been 2 weeks since we last visited our save in DSP. I had to cancel last week's stream thanks to work shenanigans. Yeah, technically it's after midnight for you now because of the time difference. So what have we done? There's actually been a lot of development in this save since the last time we streamed it. So I'm going to do some flybys in the base to kind of show you folks what's changed. First off, on the production side, we have made some headway up the tree as far as some development. And I gotta remember everything is. I've been jumping between this particular save and my other offline one that I've been playing a little bit longer. And I gotta remember exactly what we were doing. What's up the production here? Oh, this one stopped. That's not supposed to happen. And when we last left off, we were looking at upgrading up the tech tree to get the capability to go in between star systems. We've got control over our home system. I think in the last session we had done a lot of space combat, and we basically drove the dark fog out of the system, taking them out of hot zone. So maybe what we'll do is we'll fly over there first and take a look. Might do a little bit of jumping back and forth. Some of the stuff that I have producing now, I'll kind of point out as I get to it, but the real change in tech is more apparent. Let's line ourselves up and I'll show you. Hot zone is all the way across the system. We normally have to hoof it just by flying, but with the progress we made while I was doing some work offline, now we have a warp system.
Warp engine deactivated.
So now instead of having to fly across and just wait, we can now use warpers and the warp drive system to fly quite a bit of distance in between points of interest.
Flight mode.
And so what I've set up here on Hot Zone, which is another world that was under control of the enemy and we drove them out, we have circuit boards and iron ingots. It's basically another production site. And it's currently dormant, but I also set up, if you look at the map, it'll be easier to show, there is a railgun array here for contributing solar sails to the Dyson swarm, which is why, zooming out a little bit further, there are now much more rings of the solar sails orbiting the central star. So not only our home planet, you can see them shooting out in waves and little blue dots. Once this planet gets in the right alignment, it'll also start shooting out its own solar sails to contribute to the rings and help us generate more power. So that's the first major thing here on this hemisphere. And didn't set anything up in the other pole yet. In addition, we are shipping out titanium. believe. Maybe I didn't start mining titanium yet. It might just be the circuit boards and ingots for now. But if we look at the resource counter over here, there's a decent amount of iron ore, quite a bit of copper, no silicon, a decent amount of titanium and stone, and a little bit of coal. So not too bad, but nothing really that compelling. Just more supplementary materials we can use to ship back to Homeworld. If we go back to the star map, and it might be a little tough to see without zooming in and out, but you can see the transport vessels that are shipping cargo between this world and Homeworld and another site, which we're going to check out in a minute. But unlike before, they would just be flying on their flight path to the spot, pick up their cargo, and go back. Now you can see them warping in and out. So in addition to our mech having warp technology to travel great distances, our cargo vessels have that too. So now instead of taking 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes to fly across, they load up their cargo, they engage the warp, and then they zip back. Like, watch this one right here. Whoop. Back home, drop off the cargo, and then they take off, return, and they ship things back much faster. Red Dragon asks, random question, what is your Persona homeworld called? Oh, what's like the homeworld word for the planet? The homeworld doesn't have a name that can be pronounced in human tongue. That's why I call it homeworld. It would sound like a series of screeches if it was pronounced in its native tongue. That's why it's called homeworld. Maybe I should come up with a name for it that can be pronounced with human tongue. But I've never really given that much thought, and not too many people have asked. Be a good lore thing. Okay. There's a couple different spots here for recharging. Let us return to space, and now we're going to make another jump. We are going to go to the rare minerals system. This one's much further away, so if we were flying here manually, it probably would take half an hour of real-time flying. But in using our warp technology, this will take like a minute. Our Dragon says, oh weird, as my Persona world is called Gaia. I didn't know that. I know very little about your personal lore, Red Dragon. Maybe it's because we haven't really talked about it a ton. And I don't know if you talk about it on your streams. But that's cool. Is it like a faraway alien world, or is it like another dimension type world?
Warp engine deactivated.
Okay, let's go. Oh, we got a couple home worlds, not home worlds, couple alternate worlds to check out here. Let's start with the outpost. Let me touch down and get to a recharge point, and I'll show on the star map the distance we've traveled, since it might not be that clear just from me flying through space. I do like how the world terrain gen is different. There's different types of biomes and areas that's randomly or procedurally generated by seed, I think it is. And so you see a lot of different types of alien worlds. Where are my recharging stations? Oh, right there. There's jungle worlds. There's like frozen taiga, tundra type. There's the desert ones, which we've seen. There's kind of island worlds that are mostly water.
Cruise ended.
Oh, whoops.
Flight mode. Cruise mode.
Red Dragon says, I don't. That's why I have a redeem. Ah, you have a lore redeem to talk about it. I see. Alright. Let's touch down over here and recharge, and I'll show on the map where we are. So this system is the rare minerals system, so named because there's stuff here, specifically grading crystals and organic crystals. Organic crystals were something that we were crafting in production facilities on Homeworld, and it's expensive, a big investment. Here we can just straight up mine them. And so I've established logistics stations here. You can see the ships already flying back and forth, and they're warping cargo back to our homeworld. If we go, let's do it this way. If we zoom out to the star map, to give you an idea, we're here in the rare mineral system where that yellow icon is located. And we could see the little white dots are our logistics vessels flying from this system back home from the different planets. And so here I have this particular world shipping out silicon, titanium, iron ingots, and grading crystals. And they're being mined from all over and being shipped out from here. And this one is shipping out copper, circuit boards, glass, which we've been using for some circuitry. And that might be it for here right now. There's a bit more iron here, decent amount of copper, decent amount of titanium, some coal, but most importantly the grading crystals, which are used for some advanced recipes, specifically Casimir crystals, which are a really, really precious commodity for making things like the quantum chips. We need them for these plain filters. Instead of using the titanium crystals, which are expensive to make, and graphene and hydrogen, it uses just the grading crystals, graphene, and hydrogen. We can also use the grading crystals with circuit boards to make photon combiners, another thing that we need a lot of. And so shipping stuff out from here is going to help our production. And when I flew into this system off stream, it was already occupied by the dark fog. So I came in guns blazing and took all of the enemy out, not only in the system, but on each world. And so let's go check out the other one.
Cruise mode.
This is the Organic Proliferation Outpost.
Warp engine activated. Warp engine deactivated.
Let's go.
Cruise ended.
Oh, hey, we got a raid. Ladybug raiding the stream. Hey, what's up, Ladybug? Thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let me grab a shout out for you. How did your stream go? What were you playing today? The shout out should tell me. Oh, music. You were streaming music today. I don't know if I've seen that before. Were you listening to music with the chat, or were you creating music? What were you doing on stream today?
Flight mode.
Oh, trying to learn the Traveler's theme on guitar. Oh, cool. I didn't know you play guitar. So kind of like a practice grind session. Learning music. That's awesome. How did it go? Outer Wilds. I don't know the music from Outer Wilds. Well, that's awesome. Well, feel free to hang out as we talk through the latest in Dyson Sphere program. I was telling the chat how a lot's changed since the last time I streamed this. So we're talking about some interstellar production and how it translates to our overall progress. And I see Iconic is here. What's up, Iconic? Good evening to you. Welcome, welcome. Ali says I'm still learning. Went very well. Got most of it down, but I need to get the pacing down in certain parts. I'm assuming acoustic guitar, or were you playing electric?
Flight mode.
All right. I need to explain a little bit about what's here at this particular site. Oh, electric, cool. What kind of electric guitar do you have? I was learning guitar for a bit a long time ago, before I started streaming. And my current electric guitar, which was just restrung by someone a couple years ago, freshly restrung, is sitting in its case. And I have hooked it up to my loop, so I am able to capture things with it, but it's a little challenging when you're using your hands to play an instrument and you have to start and stop a loop. It's probably why people use loop pedals for a guitar. It's called a Schecter Neat Purple with jumbo frets. It's nice for playing. Oh, okay. Nice. I think I've talked about this on stream before. It's been a while since I never really talk about any instruments I own. But the guitar I own is a Japanese Stratocaster. I bought it from a coworker a long time ago. And it's really nice. I just stopped learning how to play it. But it's in good condition. It was just, like I said, restrung and sitting in storage. I should pick up Rocksmith or something to learn more. Alright. So this is actually a mechanic of the game I've not shown off before. This is something brand new. And I've been talking about it for a while, and now that we have the ability to warp between planets, it's finally time to start working this into the overall production. So these sites are producing proliferators. They look like these little spray bottles. There's a yellow one, there's a green one, and there's a blue one, mark 1, 2, and 3 respectively. This particular material, if fed through a proliferation sprayer, which, well, I'll show you what it looks like, even though we're not going to put it in place here. A sprayer looks like this. It's a input-output device that is put over a belt production line. The way it works is stuff is fed through one side, and you hook up the actual intake of the proliferator sprayer with the actual spray bottles. And what it does is they fill up the little reservoir here, and it takes these sprays and it sprays everything that goes in and comes out the other side. I'll just demonstrate. I can just delete it. So we put it on top of a belt like this. We have to feed a belt in to put the material on there. We'll do it in this. We'll do it this way. I'm just gonna pick this up and move it. Hey, Snake's here. Snake says, "Hey guys, how's it going? Just stopped by to say hi. In the middle of watching Sandland. Pretty good so far." Oh, nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it. You'll have to give us a full update in the Discord once you finish it and what your take is on the whole thing. All right. So you feed in the sprays for the proliferator, fills up the reservoir, and as soon as it starts feeding in, it's spraying all of the items that go through in this coating. What this does is any item that's sprayed with this material that's fed through a production facility, be it assembler, chemical plant, anything that's going to take components and create something else. When you spray things at proliferator, it increases the production. Well, this isn't going to be the best place to illustrate it, but there's two settings that toggle right here that use proliferation. One gives extra products, and the other speeds up the rate of the products. And so this material boosts the efficiency and production of your facilities. And later on, when you start trying to produce a lot in massive quantities, that becomes really important. Now here, we don't really need it because this is producing all of the materials. But this is basically an efficiency booster. And what we're doing here is constructing the yellow proliferation spray, which just uses coal. Takes raw coal, converts it into the spray, and feeds it over here into the logistics tower for storage. And then the storage is very short distance wise. It's transporting all the spray over here for the level 2 production site, which takes diamond and the level 1, and it crafts level 2s. And the level 2s offer a bigger boost to the performance and efficiency of the production facilities. And then the level 3 requires level 2 plus carbon nanotubes. And these are being produced on Homeworld. So what we've done on this alternate planet that we're working on, because it has a lot of coal. This one has organic crystals, but a ton of coal reserves. So this whole planet essentially is being used to produce level 2 proliferation spray and crystals, and it's shipping them out to Homeworld from here. And I see Snake is hitting us with a whole boatload of hydrates. It's a lot of water. And so thanks to this site, we now have an influx of proliferation level 2 that is being flown through space using warp technology to our homeworld.
Flight mode.
And what we're going to do is we're going to go take off and we're going to head back, and I'll show off how I'm using all of this stuff, or how I'm going to start using all this stuff back in homeworld.
Warp engine activated.
The trick with proliferation is it boosts efficiency and productivity, but it causes a higher consumption of energy. So you can start introducing it into your production sites, but it's going to cause them to use more power. So you need to have a pretty robust power grid in order to support that. And I think we could do it. I was working on adding some additional ray receivers to boost the power grid, knowing I wanted to start adding proliferation to our site.
Warp engine deactivated.
Did I overshoot it? I overshot it.
Warp engine activated.
Alright, Snake is gonna take off. Enjoy your show, Snake. Thanks for popping in to say hi.
Cruise ended.
I will definitely catch you later.
Cruise mode. Cruise ended. Cruise mode. Cruise ended.
This is the gas giant. This is not where I need to be. We're orbiting homeworld. I think it's on the other side of the gas giant. Yeah, there it is. It is kind of a neat image to see the solar sails being shot into space alongside the logistics vessels taking off and
Cruise mode.
heading out to their respective sites and bringing their cargo back. Getting the warpers as a resource is a huge, huge boost to the speed in which you can begin taking things from different parts of your planetary sites. Now, as far as what we're going to do here,
Flight mode.
let me go and recharge all my energy. It does drain quite a bit of your mech's power to go flying at warp speed, but as we upgrade the level of our generators, eventually the pool of energy we've got to call upon for that's going to get a lot more, and we won't have to worry about stopping to recharge every time we go. we also switched to hydrogen fuel rods instead of the graphite. These offer a better return on fuel. They last a bit longer. Now up here is an alternate site. I didn't show this off before we took off from the planet, but this is a solar sail launch site. Just like the first one up here we put down. I cleared the other pole and I set up another site here. And so it kind of alternates. Eventually it'll get into range and it'll start firing things at the central star. I think it's the outer two rings. Or no, it's the outermost in the middle one here. It's either that or it's this big one. And the point is to have a constant number of sails deployed, which keeps feeding into our power grid. Right now we're at 1.61 gigawatts of power generated, which is pretty good. But we're going to continue to need more. And so let's look at the tech tree. Actually, first let's find the proliferations. I don't remember exactly where I have that stuff shipping to. I think I started pulling it down and storing it and then producing the level 3s. I just don't remember where exactly. Here's the strange matter. This is the stuff, or graviton lens. Strange matter is this one. Graviton lens is used to create the actual warpers, which look like these little sphere grid things. This is the fuel used to power the warp drive slotted in here in our mech. Likewise, each logistics station needs to have these for the interstellar in order for the vessels, the ships, to have the ability to warp. So all that's being produced here and being sent over wherever it's needed. Now for proliferation, we're going to have to look around a bit. Earlier in the week I was making some progress in my offline save, and so I kind of committed the base layout for that one to memory, and I got to remember where everything is on this save. I think it was below everything. Let's take a look. I'll check via map. If you remember back to when we first started this playthrough in DSP, the entire planet was mostly just water and land masses. Now, a good portion, not all, but a good portion of the planet is covered in production facilities, which is what's allowed us to make our progress. Here we go. Oh boy, where was that? It's on the other side. It's on the other side on the bottom. Yeah, might have to fly around the planet. But eventually we're going to be taking up the majority of the real estate. There's still lots of open space. You can see water that needs to be filled in, land masses that are unoccupied. So there's still quite a bit of room on this planet to add in more facilities and more production, which is good because we're not at the end game yet. I'd say we're past the midpoint where we're at now. Alright, let's figure out where that proliferation site is. Could see it was producing the level 3s, the blue ones. And I don't know if it's sending it anywhere, so that's what I want to check. There we go. So right here is our main production site for blue proliferation spray. This is the highest tier, And I don't know.
Flight mode.
I haven't started using it yet. I'm just curious to see if I started shipping it around the planet. Because what we're going to have to do in order to utilize that particular resource is basically retool a bunch of our sites. Like here, it's producing the strange matter, little green cylinders, which are pretty useful, but primarily used for the graviton lens and the warpers for now. Eventually, we'll need that for other stuff. The first place I think I want to use the proliferation boost to productivity, I think, is going to be the quantum chips. We've looked at this before. We needed to craft these in order to make the broadbands. Was it broadbands? Oh no, maybe we haven't started doing this yet. That is the next goal. And these quantum chips are a seriously critical resource. You need them for the green science. This is our next research tier. And so we need to start setting up production for these, which require plane filters, which require titanium glass, which is cracked from regular glass. And I know I started doing that. I just don't remember where I put them.
Flight mode.
So I think what we'll do is we'll figure out a site wherever I set it, start building all of the components of that, and then we're going to do it with proliferation for the first time in the playthrough so far. I can show off how you build it all together, and then I don't know if we'll be able to tell, but we'll start off with that kind of higher level of production, since that is a really key component. We're going to need it for a bunch of things. So the first thing is titanium glass. That takes titanium and water, and I know I started building that somewhere. I just don't remember where. I think it's on the other side. Here's our big reservoir. That's pumping water into storage. So let's see if we can find it. These are the broadbands. Those are okay for now. Hydrogen, this is where our fuel is being stored for the hydrogen fuel rods. This is all deuterium production here. Using the proliferation for that would be helpful later on as well. Okay, we have glass being flown in from the other system that we were just visiting. And I know I started routing water somewhere. We had it being routed from here, and it was being stored here? Yeah, here. Oh, whoops.
Flight mode.
I think that was what I needed. What direction was that? Over here. Yeah, it's being stored here. Sorry, I had to kind of reorient myself. And where is it sending it? Worst case scenario, we can just start up a new production line for the titanium glass. We have a lot of space, so I'm not terribly worried about it. But I could have sworn I started a site offline when I was building up the save. I just do not remember where I put it. Be nice if they had a waypoint system. Maybe in a future update they'll add the ability to kind of mark points of interest so you can jump between them and not forget where you put something in your base. Okay. Let me double check up here. If I can't find it, I'll just start up a new site. Another option we have, at some point, we could pull all these old thermal generators out since they're being rapidly outpaced in power and output from the Dyson swarm. They're really just kind of taking up space at this point. Okay, glass. Alright, yeah. Maybe I'll find it or I'll stumble upon the site that I was doing all the construction later. But for now, it's okay. We'll just build somewhere else. Somewhere we have a lot of room. Oh, here. Had the site, but I didn't start actually building the belts out. Alright. This is a good place to demonstrate then. So we'll do it like this. Let's see, one of these have an extra slot? Nope. Here. Let's see if we have enough room to use bots to get the proliferation level 3 here. See if we have enough range. So we use a little fidget spinners.
You've built your first logistics district.
And we'll see if it's close enough in range to something that's got the level 3. Okay.
Flight mode.
It does not, so we need to go find the level 3 and actually create a resource. Oh, it's right here. Well, that makes it easy. We'll do it like this. We're going to create a source that's going to feed the fidget spinners and fly them over to the other site where we need them.
You've built a wireless power.
And we'll do 2 stacks. Eventually we're going to use all the stuff that's being produced here and start moving it all around the planet. And now these are going to use the fidget spinner bots, and they're going to fly the stuff from here
Flight mode.
to where we need it over here. And now we can actually build out the production lines for the titanium glass. So this requires 3 components: raw glass, water, titanium. And the difference, since you folks have seen across the other streams how we have the setup like this, where you have the output and then the input. Now we're going to add a proliferation to the equation to make this more efficient. So we're going to put sprayers on each of the component lines, just like this, side by side. These require their own power in order to run. And now we're going to run a belt from this drop-off point with the blue spray up here. Why did it do that? Oh, it's because of the grid. Okay, it's fine. So now what it's going to do is it's going to feed all of the blue spray up here, fill up the reservoirs on these, and now they're ready for the input. We'll have glass. It's stored here. Oh, whoops. too far away. There we go. And we'll do 9. We'll do sets of 9 for now. And titanium glass is our output. And we'll have you go titanium on this line, glass here, water here. Hey, Lava King's here. What has Lava King put into chat? So wari warikata rosero suburowa. Is that Japanese? Ah, okay. I do not know the specific sound bite. But it's from Sumo, apparently. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Lava King. How was judo today? It's Thursday, yeah? How to divide the way. Ah, I gotcha. Talking says, good. I got choked out by a girl's thighs and by an old man on top of me. Oh my. Sounds like another productive day in the judo dojo. Judojo. Well, hopefully you didn't sustain any injuries, Lava King, since that seems to be usually what happens every time you tune in after a bout. Lava King says, I've been choked out before, man. It was nothing. Hey, man, I'm not judging. I was in the martial arts a long time ago, like we talked about on stream. I used to spend my sessions getting repeatedly kicked in the junk. Alright, so now I can demonstrate what the proliferation is actively doing. So it might be a little bit difficult to see on the broadcast, but you can see in the production queue timer here, when the yellow line fills, it pops out whatever it's producing. But there's this blue one that is being filled a little bit slower as it's being produced. Every time that blue circle completes, it drops a bonus commodity. And so this is a way to increase production over time. So each one of these things is being fed proliferation and is spitting out more of the titanium glass. Oh, and we have a hydrate from Iconic. Consume water. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this one straight up and put it directly below, as long as we're not... Yeah, okay. Crossing the... I think it's the equator. No, we're below the equator. Red Dragon asks, can you speed up? Can you up the speed of the blue bar? You can't up the speed, but each level of the proliferation boosts it a certain amount. The blue one is the fastest. So this particular commodity, the blue bonus, is going up as fast as it can go with this particular material. Lava King asks, no more Raku Faktu. I suspended the redeem until I can add more facts to the list because you folks have tapped out my list of facts. I have to come up with some more interesting facts, and then I'll reinstate the redeem once I have things to tell you folks. I'll have to come up with some more embarrassing facts from the past, and or some more homeworld facts too. Not opposed to doing homeworld lore. Alright, let's feed these three. And I did see we got a drop a beat from Red Dragon. Lava King asks, have I ever tried Mech Warriors? Like the old Mecha Mech Warriors property? Only the first iteration of the game on Super Nintendo. Actually, the first iterations of 2 games on Super Nintendo I've played in Mech Warrior. I haven't played any of the newer ones, the more modern Mech Warrior games. They're a bit slow for me after getting into Armored Core, as you can imagine. All right. Have to connect these belts. Let me do that, and then we'll pause for a beat for Red Dragon. Man, that geographical line scaling is killing me. There we go. Okay. Save. Lava King says, or just do random facts. I could do that. I know Wazzy does that every once in a while with her redeems. That's going to require me to go get a source of random facts. I'm far too lazy to do that. Okay, I'm going to let it run. I'm not really in danger at the moment. So let me pause the BGM. Oh, no, don't put that there. And let me grab my headphones. And let's come up with a beat. I'm thinking we do something a little more drum and bass-ish this time. It's been a little while. So let's give it a try. Alrighty then. Back with the BGM. We continue. Lava King says, "Oh, you do like a hey kids, it's fun fact with lava time." Yeah, you could offer random facts for the chat, Lava King. Her Dragon says, "Random fact: pigeons are one of there's 3 types of birds that can produce milk." I did not know that before today, and I do not feel like my life was enriched after learning that. The idea of pigeon milk is a little unsettling. Did love or Iconic says great beat. Oh, thanks. Came up with something pretty quickly and pulled it out of thin air. Love King says, today's fun fact is Lex Luthor was not Superman's original arch enemy. Instead, it was Ultra Humanite, a super intelligent person whose brain was placed in a gorilla body. Huh. I did not know that. Admittedly, I do not know a lot about Marvel Comics, so that's news to me. All right, let's copy this down here. We'll do the same thing. Rejects his DC Comics. Yeah, I know. I was checking to see if Lava King was paying attention. I think I probably know more about Marvel Comics than DC, but I don't really read either. Oh, so you were paying attention, Lava King. All right, we want this line connected here. And this one down here. We have enough for one more series. And to keep an eye on our power drain as well. I think we're probably okay. Yeah, we're alright. When we get past 3/4, I might have to deal with that. The overall power consumption of using proliferation to boost production does add up over time. If we were to overhaul our entire base, I don't think we could support it. Lava King says, okay, I got a Marvel fun fact. All right. Enlighten the chat. And myself. Let's see. Okay. Just checking this to make sure our supply here is not getting depleted too quickly. I think we're all right. Oh, whoops. It's fine. It's a little bit ugly, but that's all right. Lava King says, Spider-Woman was originally made for a sole purpose to trademark the name so nobody else could make a female spider clone. Iconic says, fun fact, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. He is Iron Man. That does sound like something Marvel would do. One thing we could do, let's see. I think our overall influx of water, glass, and titanium is pretty stable. I am going to duplicate this entire setup if I have enough belts. Yeah, we should have enough. Gonna show off the mass building using technically this is blueprint mode. Rather than rebuild this whole set, oh no, we're not all the way down there. Rather than rebuild this whole setup piece by piece, we can literally copy paste it as long as we have enough room. And I could do it there, but I need to fill in the water before I can do that. All right.
Flight mode.
Lava King said, here's a doozy of a fun fact about Marvel way back in the day. Godzilla and Transformers were canon in the Marvel Universe, and the Transformers G1 Marvel Comics Spider-Man fought the Autobots wearing the black suit because of reasons I don't remember. Couldn't use the blue and red. Huh. I guess there are weirder crossover ideas. Did you know Batman fought the aliens, xenomorphs, and the Predators? I don't think he fought them at the same time, but there's a Batman versus aliens and like a Batman versus Predator crossover comic. Now that was cool. I think Superman fought the aliens as well. Alright, we're going to put you right there. And let's drop a battlefield base. This will construct it for us.
A logistics station.
And what am I missing? Oh, inserters. Or sorters. Alright, let's go grab some more of those. Lava King says I can top that in the Archie gang. Betty fought the Predator. That sounds like an interesting crossover. I've never really understood who Archie is meant to appeal to. It's still running now, right? Like who's that comic series for? Old people? Little people? I'm an old people. I don't get Archie. Oh, it was Betty because everyone else was dead in the comic. Did she go like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original Predator and like fight him one-on-one? Yeah, Archie comics are still going. I don't understand who they're for. They're obviously for somebody. Yeah, I guess you have a point, Iconic. It could be long-lasting nostalgia. Again, old people. Alright, let's drop you in there. Oh. We need to run proliferation. Rather than put another one of these here, I'm going to just run a line of all the way down here. We'll burn the belts. Because right now, everything's going, but it's not getting the boost in productivity from proliferation, so we want to do that here. Lava King says Archie also met TMNT and the Punisher. I believe it. It seems like the series does a lot of different types of crossovers. Energy production dropped a bit. That's a little bit concerning. It's now down to 779. It's due to the fact that the rotation of the planets causes the solar sail deployment to stop when they get out of range. So like hot zone's not putting any up there. And when it is, I think that's when we're getting the 1,000 or 1 point whatever gigs of power. Okay, so we got titanium glass. That looks good. Next, we need plane filters. Now, did I add production sites for these yet? I think I did. At the very least, I started bringing grading crystals from the other system. I cannot remember for the life of me which one of these had it. Maybe we can ask this one to bring more. Oh yeah, there's a lot of Scooby-Doo crossovers. Scooby-Doo crossover, Batman twice, WWE wrestlers, Kiss. Yep. Was it Hulk Hogan that teamed up with Scooby-Doo one time? Stranger things have happened. Okay. So for crystals... let me go double check around the base. I feel like I started doing that somewhere, but I do not remember where. Oh, check the map. Cylinders. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, well. We'll just continue producing stuff where we're at.
Flight mode.
This is why I said we're going to start taking up a lot of real estate around the planet. All these open spots are going to be converted into areas where we can set up production for the different components we need. So we need to set up regular logistics. Oh, it was John Cena. Really? WWE crossover with Scooby-Doo is that recently? Not even during the like the 80s era when a lot of those older guys were big and Scooby-Doo was still on TV. That's kind of surprising. Okay, what grading crystals, graphene, and hydrogen? Oh, okay, we should have a load of hydrogen. Or not. We might have tapped out our... Really? Huh. Interesting. Okay, we need to grab more hydrogen. That's not something I thought we'd be short on. Fortunately, we can grab them from the star that's right next to us, the hydrogen star. We just need an empty logistics station. I guess we can drop a new one. Drop a new one down here. Because this one's full. Maybe right here? Yeah.
You've built an interstellar logistics station.
Yep.
Which serves...
Red Dragon says, DC random thoughts. If Superman learned martial arts, he would win most of his fights. Not that he needed to. And we got a stretch from iconic. I think that's kind of the point. With the exception of, I guess, something that he's weak against. He doesn't really need much other than raw power to win his fights. Okay, so we want this one to go and grab. Huh. No hydrogen from the nearby star. It's empty? That can't be right. Oh, gotta look into that. All right, side quest time. Oh, there's the bus. Let's see. Where is our orbital collector supply? We haven't deployed any of these in a while. I guess I forgot to go back and finish doing that. That could be why we're running a little low on hydrogen. Let's take 30. This is going to start consuming more of our ally, but that's fine.
Flight mode.
Lava King says, fun Marvel fact. In Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, Star-Lord... The Star-Lord VA was the same one as Master Chef. I did not know that. Is anybody watching that Halo series? I saw Critical talk about it recently. He said the second season was better than the first, but still not great. I have no real investment in Halo, so I also don't have Netflix, so I haven't seen it. I just hear what people are saying about it. Alright, how much does this have? Oh, yeah, I think we might have tapped out our orbital collectors on hydrogen. I completely forgot to even check that. Well. Okay, let's see if there's any more room on the planet.
Cruise mode.
I thought we filled them up around the equator. Nope, not at all. We only put a few down. Okay, that's why.
Cruise mode. Cruise ended.
Whoopsie doodle. Lava King says, Raku, what you should watch on Prime is Twisted Metal. Are they still making more of that? It was two seasons? How many seasons was that? Like 2 seasons? I heard it was better than everyone thought it was going to be. I've only played a couple of the games on PlayStation back in the day, so I wouldn't say I have the biggest investment in Twisted Metal.
You've constructed an orbital collector. It can automatically collect resources.
Yeah. Okay, the next season's in production. All right. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put the rest of these down, as many as we've got across the equator. They can only be deployed along the equator. In case it's been a while since you folks saw me put these down. These are basically passive mining or gathering stations, and they siphon gas from the gas giant, which we're currently flying over, and they just hold it for your vessels to come and collect and take back to your bases. And this particular star has hydrogen, which up until recently we weren't short on, and the fire ice mineral, which is very valuable. And so you basically set these things up on a nearby gas giant and just let them run. Eventually we'll need to get to another star system to find a star at deuterium, which is another type of fluid, I guess it is, stored in fluid tanks like hydrogen, but much more valuable and useful than hydrogen, and a pain to craft. So we're going to need to do this orbital collection thing on some other stars coming up too. But for now, let's at least max out our supply here because we still need it. Lava King said Twisted Metal barely had a story to begin with. Yeah, I guess that's true. But it sounds like they had a pretty compelling plot and characters in the adaptation that's out now. Is it free on Prime or do you have to buy it? Because I don't really watch stuff on Prime. I watched Has-Been because it was free. I don't regret that because I really enjoyed Has-Been, but it wasn't something I had to go out and buy. He says, I don't know. That's fine. Red Dragon says, changing subject, you finalize what class you're going to be for Saturday? No, not specifically Red Dragon. It'll be something that's geared towards strength builds and something heavy. I haven't played Elden Ring in so long. I'll figure it out before then. I'm gonna probably work on the save file tomorrow night. Lava King asks, class Saturday. We're doing a collab, Red Dragon and I, on Saturday. We're going to be playing Elden Ring with fresh saves. We're going to be starting from the beginning of the game and going directly into co-op and playing through for a bit. And it has been a hot minute since I've played Elden Ring, so if you want to watch me get absolutely murked by everything that breathes, then feel free to stop by. It's going to be earlier than normal on Saturday. It's going to be at noon Pacific. And what we're going to do is start at the beginning, get to the first co-op point, party up, and see how it goes. We're going to be simultaneously streaming. So I'll put a link in the Discord to where you can watch both our streams at once if you want to see the chaos. He says, be an astrologer. Nah, I'm not gonna go mage class. I'm gonna go heavy since I went like speed dex on my original save. Usually I go sword and board in Souls games. Maybe I'll go just like big unga bunga giant sword. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. Her dragon says, party up and die together. Hey man, you're the expert. I'm expecting you to carry me. It's going to be doubly difficult since I've been playing Monster Hunter recently, as I always do. And trying to switch from the Monster Hunter control scheme to the Souls control scheme always trips me up. Like every time. Okay. So now we have, check out the, oh, it's dark. We check out the map. Now we have a belt of orbital collectors going all the way across the equator of the gas giant. Which will help, but they do passively gather relatively slowly. It's how much per second? Oh, 80.3 per minute. Which isn't a ton, but multiply that by X number of collectors and it should help. We'll see the ships start passing through and then grabbing the hydrogen, and then they'll pull it from the collectors and they'll take it back home.
Cruise mode.
Lava King says, Raku, you should try Battle Network. And it's been a long time since I played Battle Network. I played the first couple way back when they first came out. And I know a bunch of you had been playing the collection. I hear that's a good time.
Cruise ended.
Okay, let's save our progress. Yeah, Red Dragon. It's from Advance. The first one was on Advance back in the day. It's a pretty unique take on like a type of board-based combat with the Mega Man characters. Those are good games. They're a lot of fun. That does remind me that I wanted to start a playthrough of a series or a game from Advance, because I have an emulator that'll work on stream. Let me think about that, since we're going to be starting something new, since we're taking a bit of a break from Infinite Fusion after beating Kanto. I think I'll think about it a bit, but I'm leaning towards the next long play be an advanced game. And Lava King might have heard of this one, because I know you're a mecha fan. But one of my favorite advanced games from way back in the day is from Zone of the Enders, and it's called Fist of Mars. But it's not like an action mecha combat game like the PS2 titles. It's a turn-based strategy game. And that game's a lot of fun. A lot of like squad customization and mecha customization. Interesting story. Lava King says, too many indie games. Kanto, not Kanto. It's a Japanese word. It's like Johto is a Japanese word. Specifically, Kanto in Pokemon is named after the Kanto region of Japan. It's a Japanese word. It's an area. There's like the Kanto region. There's the Kansai region. That's where that comes from. The one with the pink mech in Fist of Mars. I mean, one of the enemies has a pink mech, I think. The main character's mech's not pink though. Hawking says I know about Kansai. Yeah, that's the Kansai area is like southwest. It's like the west side of the country in Japan. Kanto is the east side, where Tokyo is. It's an actual place. Oh, that's why production stopped. Oh, okay, it's full. Alright, that's fine. Lava King said I never heard anyone call it Kanto. That's probably because people aren't speaking or saying it like it's a Japanese word. Oh, it does make me wonder if there's a region of Japan called Johto. I don't think there is. I think it's just a Japanese type word, unless it's north. Good question. Oh, I see. There's actually a nice little map on Bulba Garden. The Johto region in Pokemon is named after the middle of the country, or the middle of the main island in Japan. Technically, Hoenn is southwest. Johto is kind of in the middle towards the west side, and then Kanto is like the east side. So the in-game Pokemon Kanto region reflects the same like area of the Pokemon landmass that corresponds like where Tokyo is. Johto's kind of the middle to the west. Hoenn is south, headed towards Kyushu. Lava King says, you mean Bulbapedia? Yeah, that's the site, but it's hosted off Bulba Garden. I'm looking at the wiki now. Same place. And yeah, I that was calling it Johto. I don't think I've ever heard it called anything else. All right. Okay, so now we're getting a bit more collection of hydrogen. That's good. That was a little bit of a tangent. We said we are doing, boy. Ah, yeah, that's right. We're doing Casimir crystals. So Casimir crystals advanced. So we need grading, which is being pulled from the other system that we checked out earlier, and graphene. Hopefully we're not low on graphene. That would be very annoying. We're going to run proliferation on this one too, so now we need to set up fidget spinner hub. We're going to tell you to request level 3s, but we only need 2 stacks. Don't need a lot. Lava King says, fun Pokemon fact. The city from the movie Destiny, Deoxys, is based on Vancouver. Oh, Vancouver, Washington? I didn't know that. I have only seen the first movie. And that was a very, very, very long time ago. All right, just like before, we're going to run 3 component belts, and we're going to hook the proliferation up here. I did see your save reminder. Iconic and hydrate from a dragon. Thank you for the reminder. It'd be pretty bad to lose progress after taking that aside to go and do the orbital collector thing. And I'll drink some water. Lava King, hey, stop yelling at me. Lava King says Vancouver, Canada. You didn't specify, homie. You just said Vancouver. There's more than one. What are you, a native Canadian or something? Okay, for this one, the setup is going to be pretty much identical to what we just did. Oh. Well, I'm kind of an idiot. I should have put that further out so we can just copy it straight down. Oh well. I'm going to have to stagger it. Lava King says foaming at the mouth with maple syrup noises. Well, that's no good. I'm going to get this guy some poutine stat. Delicious, delicious poutine. I told you folks that we went to an actual poutineery when I was in Alberta, right? I can't remember if we talked about that. As in a place that specializes in making the poutines. We went to a place and they had a whole bunch of different types. It was really good. It's better than the stuff they make here in the States. That's for sure. Crystals. Advanced Casimir crystal recipes. Red Dragon says, Cancaland is what my niece calls it. Instead of Canada Land. I say Canada Land. Our northerly neighbors. I have been to 2 parts of Canada now. I have been to Alberta and I have been to Vancouver. Obviously, I was in Alberta for Extra Life, and I saw Iron Maiden in Vancouver. And that was pretty rad. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this setup. And we'll copy this 3 times. I'm just going to have to stagger the belts so the proliferation will get fed to each one of these. King says pancakes are better than poutine. That's kind of a weird comparison. I'd understand the comparison between pancakes and waffles, but like poutine isn't. Do people eat it for breakfast over there? I don't know. I kind of figured it was like a snack. And Red Dragon says, "Oh, Iron Maiden fan? Yes, sir. I don't talk about it a ton, but I listen to a lot of metal, and Iron Maiden is as metal as it gets. And they put on a really good show. Those dudes are old. They're older than me. And they could still put on a really good show. Bruce Dickinson doing laps around the stage and like 70-something. It was pretty nuts. But 'twas a good time. They played my favorite Iron Maiden song. So that made me happy. For those of you that know the catalog of Iron Maiden, can you guess what my favorite song by Iron Maiden is? It's one of the ones that's well known, but it might not be like one that you'd assume based on like the ones that people really know from them. Hazard a guess. Let's see if anyone can guess it right. Lava King says, Raku Metallica is as metal as it gets, not Silver Maiden. That is not true. Iron Maiden has been around longer than Metallica. They started in the 70s. Earlier in the 70s than Metallica did. So unless you're going to invoke the names of like Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or like Black Sabbath, I don't think that argument that Metallica is more metal is going to hold. I think Metallica's alright. They're not my favorite though. Iconic says, how about the Saint Anger album? That one is generally regarded as not very good from Metallica. I've heard the tracks on it. The mixing and the drums are terrible. But anyway, to answer Red Dragon's question, no, not Number of the Beast. That is a good one though. Try again. I'll give you 3 guesses. Okay, we want... Uh-oh. That was not a good place to put that. Now I gotta wrap the belts around. That's annoying. Is it... Lava King Eyes, is it British Eddie or Asylum Eddie? I think his name's just Eddie, the mascot for Iron Maiden. The Trooper's a really good guess, Red Dragon. That's my second favorite song by them. I'll give you one more guess. 3 total. Oh, is it not connected? There it goes. They did do the Trooper though. It was like one of the last songs they did. It was a lot of fun. Oh, Run to the Hills. That's also a really good one. A lot of songs from like Guitar Hero. I remember playing back in the day. That's also a really good one, but no, it's not my favorite. So my favorite Iron Maiden song is Fear of the Dark. It's a really interesting song. I like the fact that it has kind of this slow build up and then it just punches you in the face when the main riffs drop. And yeah, they did Fear of the Dark. It was awesome. Is that the last show I've been to? Can't remember. When did I go see Iron Maiden? That was in the fall. That was after Harry Mack, I think. Other than that, I haven't been to any shows recently. Red Dragon asks, what was the first album you heard from Iron Maiden? It's a good question. I know more of the tracks as opposed to the complete titles. Probably would have been the album that Trooper comes from, which is one of the earlier ones. Fourth album, Peace of Mind. What's on Peace of Mind? Regal's Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus. That's a good one. Yeah, that would be the first one I listened to because it had that on there. But I had heard a lot of songs across a bunch of them, and less from the more recent stuff. Red Dragon says mine was Virtual 11. Nice. I didn't know you were a metal fan, Red Dragon. I guess it hasn't really come up. But that's cool. I have been to a handful of metal shows in my time. Been a while. Maiden was the more recent one. I have seen... Let's see, who have I seen? I've seen a bunch of like hard rock and metal Japanese bands. I have seen Dragon Force. They played with Camelot, which is my favorite power metal band. That was pretty awesome. Probably the most brutal show I've been to was Darren Gray from Japan. They played in the city where I was living at the time. And if you ever heard of Darren Gray, their music is pretty heavy and intense. And it was a crazy show. There was a lot of moshing. The entire venue was a mosh pit. Instead of just having like a pit near the front, because it wasn't a super huge show venue. But yeah, it was fun. Definitely not for the faint of heart, though. Red Dragon says, yeah, my dad hasn't got me into it. I have Iron Maiden vinyls. Oh, that's really cool, dude. Those will probably be worth something. I don't have any vinyl because I don't have a sound system to play vinyl. But I know Sir Matt, Mr. PJ Prolix, he is a vinyl collector. And I didn't actually see his collection. We talked about it, but I didn't see it when I was at their place. But he collects a lot of records. So you might talk to him about vinyl. Lava King says, Rock, if you like metal music, there's an anime I want to sell you on that uses music references cooler than JoJo and was the inspiration for Guilty Gear. Oh, yeah? What was that one called? If it's older, I might have heard of it, but I can't guarantee that I've seen it. Do tell, I do like metal, and I do like the aesthetics of Guilty Gear. In fact, Guilty Gear is one of my favorite series soundtracks, despite me not playing every single game. Gonna be doing more Strive stuff soon. I just don't know when exactly. Maybe next week. Kind of want to get back into Guilty Gear Strive, so I might be streaming it. Oh, it's called Bastard. I've seen Bastard. I haven't seen the newer... was it Netflix? The newer Netflix reboot they did? I've seen the original OVA from the 90s. That's with Dark Schneider. And yeah, it's full of metal references. Like the city's name is Metarecana. There's a knight named Bon Jovina. It's full of metal references. It's not a reboot. Is it a continuation? Is it a continuation from the OVA, Lava King? I remember seeing that they put it into production, but I haven't seen it because I don't have Netflix. I haven't thought about Bastard in a while. So you don't have to sell me on it. I do want to see it eventually. I just don't have the service that it's on at the moment. Oh, new adaptation? Okay, so it doesn't retell the story. It's just something new.
Flight mode.
I watched that in Earth School eons ago. A friend of mine that runs our D&D campaign, in fact, is the one who showed me that one. Red Dragon says further up in the chat, you play Metal Health Singer. The music is very nice. Oh yeah, I played that one on stream. I played that one before I got my new graphics card though, so it didn't look the nicest, but yeah, it was awesome. The soundtrack is really, really wicked for Metal Hellsinger. They got Tatiana Smalik from the metal band Ginger to do one of the tracks. And I think Alyssa from Arch Enemy does another one of them too. Two really, really cool female vocalists doing some gnarly metal tracks. Metal Hellsinger's rad. I recommend anyone who likes that kind of music to play it. It's fun. Oh, is it in VR? I didn't know that. First, I don't think I could play a first-person shooter in VR. The motion makes me dizzy. Where are we? We're up here. Lava King says, just go to Watch Cartoon Online and watch anime without needing streaming service. Is that one of those pirate sites that does like streaming uploads of stuff? I might have to bite the bullet and get Netflix eventually. There's a handful of things I want to watch on that service. Just haven't got around to it yet, because I know if I start watching series, I will get less done than I normally do, which is bad for content. I know Capri Sun was saying that they weren't terribly impressed with the new Castlevania series. I didn't want to watch that, so I might watch it out of morbid curiosity at some point, but I don't know too many other people who've seen it. I hear the new Avatar series is not as bad as everyone thought it was going to be, but still not stellar. So I'm not exactly that motivated to see that one. Okay, we need to feed one more. Loving says I like the new Castlevania. It was a bit rushed.
Insufficient materials.
Is it done? Or are they making more of it? I really like the original Castlevania. No, I don't know if it really holds up to the original Netflix series if people are saying it wasn't as good, but I don't know. I think I'd want to see it just to have my own opinion. Just because someone didn't like it doesn't mean I'm going to not like it. Ooh, we are running low on hydrogen again. That is gonna be a problem. I'm assuming on the Avatar series, Lava King says it's not awful, it's fine, gives and elaborates on how the air hippies got killed. General criticism for the new Avatar series I've heard is that there were a lot of narrative changes made that didn't really seem to be necessary, which is interesting. I can understand that. Lava King says, what's more important is the guy who made the OG series is making Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry anime with 150% more wahoo. You think that's going to take place later in the storyline, like around or past the events in 5? That problem with our hydrogen output is actually choking our supply lines more than I thought it would. Let me go see if we have a surplus somewhere. As we have literally gone the entire playthrough so far without having to worry about hydrogen, and now we're completely tapped out. And that's no good. We did have a bunch of the... Oh, where'd I put them? Here? Here. These things are stopped. Why are they stopped? These things shouldn't be stopped. Oh no, they were feeding the plastic line. They shouldn't be stopped though. But why? Why are they stopped? Oh, that's why. There is no more of the refined oil being consumed because the plastic line is backed up. Ah, okay. So not those. Those are okay for now. We don't really need the plastics. Oh, Lava King says the director of DMC3, Itsuno, is working on the show. He worked on 5 too. He's the reason 5 got made. I guess he's probably shifting focus to that now that Dragon's Dogma is out. Okay, so this is feeding some of the hydrogen. We're gonna pull all these thermals out. These are really not adding much. And there's no room there. Alright, fine. We'll just put a new logistics tower here. We're going to grab hydrogen from here for now. Lava King says, I came up with a hilarious indie game based on DMC. Dating sim, but the shtick is, yeah, you're dating the devil arms. Oh, like, what's the guitar? Nevin? The electric guitar? So they're like human representations of the different weapons. Oh no, guys, it's the school delinquent Cerberus. That would be an interesting premise. Yeah, like Red Dragon saying like the KFC dating game. Was it Wazzy played that on stream, didn't she? Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like, Lava King. It's like a anime dating sim in the world of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Stranger things have happened. Oh, okay, there's another site over here. Where's all this stuff going? There's no production. Oh, I know why. It's because I unhooked it from the oil. Huh. I'm surprised they're still cycling. There is no oil around here. It was up here in the north where I put the array. That's why.
Flight mode.
Oh, I should just delete that whole area. Then it's not doing anything. It's just consuming power. All right, we're gonna rip it out. Can rip out the thermals too. At least the yeah, I can rip all these out. All the stuff's gonna be cleared. So we've made some room. There. I see a very interesting discussion about who from the Devil Arms would be comprising the romanceable options in this DMC dating sim. Love King says crazy class presence, Agni and Rudra are better. That would be funny. You folks should write a pitch for a series. Or for a game. Heck, if you got RPG Maker for free, you could be making that game right now. Okay, let's dump some of these extra buildings. Specifically the oil. I don't think we're really going to need the oil processing stuff anymore. It's pretty much obsoleted by a lot of our other power and resources, at least for the moment. We'll just dump them in storage. Make some inventory space. I can put them here. Our extractors and refineries. Don't really need them at the moment. All right, save our progress.
Flight mode.
And our other production site. So graphene. Because we've hit a bit of a surplus of graphene, the production site down here, which is also generating hydrogen, is a bit choked at the moment too. That's also not helping. You folks, well, I don't know how many of you are on Twitter. Probably the less of you, the better, honestly. Anyone see the recent Twitter discourse about Bayonetta over the last couple days? It is very stupid. So if you haven't seen the discourse, then you're really not missing a whole lot. But it all intersects with the release of Stellar Blade. Yeah. It's the whole discussion of the main character of Stellar Blade versus Bayonetta, and people saying like, hey, you guys were slamming Bayonetta for the exact same things back in the day, and now everyone loves her. So it's kind of like this whole hypocritical discussion. Anyway, it's stupid. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not missing a whole lot. But I've heard Stellar Blade plays like a really good character action game. It is very, very overt in its imagery. Which, you know, if you like that, fine. If you don't like that, fine. I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I can't play it no matter what. Lava King says I never cared about Bayonetta. I always thought Bayonetta was a cool character, and I really liked the games. The third one was okay. It was not as good as the first or second. Had some narrative flaws that I definitely didn't agree with, but it was still fun. I never played the kind of story-based adventure one that came out a little bit later. I don't know much about that one. Our Dragon says, social media is just people moaning about pointless things. Oh, you have no idea. If you've never been out there and seen it firsthand, you have no idea how stupid the rabbit hole goes. I'm on Twitter, which I refuse to call X, because it's where I promote the stuff I work on and follow some of my friends. Other than that, I really try to minimize the amount of scrolling I do, because oh boy, you get sucked into a doom scrolling spiral and it'll ruin your day. It will ruin your day. Let's see. What else? Ooh. We're burning power. Let's go grab some more fuel. I wonder if I can use graphene. I think you can use graphene for fuel. Maybe I'll do that and get some space in that production area that's being a little bit pinched at the moment. Where is it? We're just there. It's further this way. Where is it? Further up. I think the fire ice one was further up. Let me look. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm blind. It's here. Yeah, I flew right by it. My Dragon says I had Twitter, but then I deleted it. Yeah, I don't blame you. It'll bum you out. It'll bum you out, man. Twitter is one of the only places on the internet where you can say, I like pancakes. And someone will say, well, that means you hate waffles. And someone else will say, pancakes are racist. Another day on Twitter. How much do these yield? 96 kilojoules? Not a lot. Very little, in fact.
Flight mode.
Yep, that's like paper. Well, that's not terribly helpful. Just grab a bunch of these and just start burning it. Lava King says, what I really want from Sega is Phantasy Star 5. Yeah, I think you mentioned that previously when we were talking about Phantasy Star. I don't know what the status is of the series right now. Kind of just resurfaces every now and then, right? Comes back. No one hears about it for an eon or two, and then it comes back. Lava King says, humans having a problem with something about me is their problem, not mine. Well, on Twitter, you don't even have to say something that someone has a problem with. Sometimes not saying that you have a problem with something is a problem for people. Yeah. Yeah, wrap your head around that. To put it into perspective, one of my really good friends and I've been online for a really long time, since the days of message boards and forums and whatnot. And a long time ago, I asked this friend of mine, I said, have you ever been banned in a forum for, you know, getting into an argument or saying something or whatever? And my friend looks at me and he goes, I don't get into arguments on the internet. And that was it. I said, wow, that's smart. That sounds really smart. Imagine how much happier everyone would be if they just didn't get into arguments on the internet. Same friend who got me into Monster Hunter, by the way. Good fellow. Okay, so production of these crystals has slowed somewhat. We need to go grab more fuel. I want to at least get production of the circuit boards, not circuit boards, quantum chips underway this stream, and then I'll probably tweak the production offline because we need those. We're going to need them for so much. Knowing how my other save turned out, we would need a good section of the planet devoted to producing those. That would be the smart thing to do. Red Dragon says, worst thing I seen on Twitter was a post about a pink birthday cake, and the comments were, pink equals sexist. Like I said, people will argue about anything and everything, even if it's not a rational argument. And I know I don't have to tell you folks that, because you know the internet. It doesn't even have to be an argument that makes sense, and people will still get upset and fight about it and cancel people. That seems like such a waste of time and effort. Exhausting. You could put that effort into something so much more productive. Oh, whoops. I meant to grab more of those. And you know, because at least for here in the good old States, it's an election year, so the discourse around politics is going to be even worse between now and November. Everybody I know is just preparing for the storm and trying not to get swept up into it. It's going to be ugly. What are you going to do? Oh, we go max charging power there. Iconic says, I spent an hour arguing about Goku as a dad and people were really angry. Yeah, see, exactly. All that effort, getting upset. It could have been channeled in something else. Like pottery. Or knitting. Or writing lemon fan fiction. I don't know. Anything else that's more constructive. Lava King says, hey, Raku, want to hear me talk about history like it's the video game industry? Rome is a fan game mod of Greece. Ah, that's an interesting opinion. I think the people that live over there probably disagree. All right, we're going to top out here on crystals. Let's see. How's production looking? I think over time, the amount orbital collectors create for our vessels to pull back is going to go up to the point where eventually we're going to be probably topped out on hydrogen again, but we're not yet. Yeah, it seems like it's producing things at a decent pace. So we're going to move on, and we're going to go for the plane filters, which require crystals and the titanium glass. Lava King says in justification, because Rome became so popular, it bought out other studios, like that studio that made Germania and even killed the Egypt series. Okay, I see how you're framing it now. That makes a little more sense. Like the ancient Roman Empire was like EA. And resulted in its own downfall. Oh, it's going there. Here. Okay, I'm thinking about what we need next. We need to grab more assemblers. I'm going to start setting up the production stuff for the plane filters, see how much we can get from that, and then we'll think about how we're going to translate that over for the actual quantum chips. We definitely have the space. And I'm going to go grab more of those graphene groups. I'm going to stick them over in the production for Assemblers Mark II. It's a good place to use all that. Logging says also, Otaku, can you believe they made a total of 13 Crusade games? Yeah, you think the model would have worn out after the DLC, but nope. Just had to keep pumping out those Crusades. It's like Madden. That's probably going to get me in trouble. Should be a little bit careful. Wouldn't want to get canceled. There, we'll stick all these in here for now. We'll have to grab more of the processors later.
Flight mode.
Hawking says, I mean, yeah, Crusade 3 had some great characters. Yeah, by Crusade 10, they really lost the plot. Okay, where are we heading next? I'm going to probably just keep going east. There's lots of space. There's so much space in this planet. It's free real estate. I'm going to have to go get more soil piles eventually. Oh, I should probably check our power grid too. Oh, not bad. At peak, still 1.5 gigs of total power generation. I think taking out that big chunk of the hydrogen cycle processing stuff gave us a bunch of power back too. Should have done that sooner. Oh, we're out of drones.
Flight mode. Cruise mode.
it's going to be interesting as we get towards the later game in DSP. We're going to need to start keeping an eye out for threats invading our other planetary bases and other systems. Even if you drive the dark fog out, they'll deploy these things called seeds, which drift around. You can actually see them from the star map. These red things right here, they kind of float around and path towards systems, and when they enter a system, they start reconstructing a hive. And if you don't do anything, they'll rebuild and start invading your territory, to the point where I don't know if you can actually run up on them and shoot them out. But this one is very likely going to head to the rare mineral system, so I'll need to keep an eye out, because I don't have a lot of defenses in those other bases. They're just out there mining away, and it would be very annoying to have the dark fog come and start ruining my business. All right, now we're looking a little bit healthier as far as supply. I think we shored up a little bit with our hydrogen. And let's do two lines of production for the plane filters. And we'll set up another proliferation drop point right here. We're gonna need more. We'll always need more. Lava King says, also now, this is just me talking, but in my opinion, Sengoku Jidai was more interesting game than World War sequel. Yeah, it was a monumental entry that had a lot of big names, but I feel like it's the title people won't stop talking about, and it started some nasty fandoms. Facts. It's a very interesting way to describe the world wars as a global conflict and the things that were spawned from it. And I do think you're onto something, because I studied the Sengoku Jidai, or the Warring States period in Japanese history. I think Sengoku Jidai was more interesting than Meiji, personally. Meiji restoration and modernization as the Sakoku era and opening up the West sort of happened is a lot of cultural importance. But when you look at the factions that were fighting each other before that, you know, era of like Nobunaga and a lot of the other stuff in Warring States, it's a really interesting piece of history. It's what a lot of video games are based on. And a lot of like old and newer like anime prefaces are all based on things from that era. I studied a bit of Japanese history when I was in school. During the years, the country was completely closed off from foreign interactions, aside from the Dutch and maybe the Portuguese. Resulted in some really interesting cultural developments. Alright. Let's run this up parallel. Actually, is it 2? No, it's not 3, it's 2. Yeah, I'll need 3. Lava King says, oh yeah, Dutch got early access. A lot of things like breads and fried foods were introduced by the Dutch and the other parts of the Europeans that were over there in Japan. So things like tempura and katsu weren't native foods to Japan. They were adapted from things introduced by the foreign people living there. Which is interesting, sure. As a person who really likes katsu, knowing that it's got kind of a complex origin, how it ended up in Japan. Again, neat story. Lava King asks, you want to hear a title I think is underrated? War of the Roses. I feel like it didn't get enough love. Interesting. Interesting opinion. Take it you've studied a bit of history in your time, Lava King. Just based on the conversation today. I didn't know you were a history buff. Is that what happened in the Jeanne storyline? Jeanne d'Arc? Joan of Arc? Yeah, but it inspired a lot of literature when you think about it. A lot of media and literature. Iconic says, gotta go now. Thank you for another great stream as always. Raku, best of luck with everything. Alright, Iconic. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us today. We are going to be wrapping up shortly here once I get these last production lines down. Like I mentioned before, we'll be back noon Pacific time Saturday for a collab stream in Elden Ring. So if that sounds like your idea of a good time, watching at least one person get horribly abused in a Souls-like game. And spoiler alert, it's probably not going to be Red Dragon. Then feel free to stop by. Lava King says the pioneers and early settlers of America and Canada, it's so boring. Yeah, but it's full of atrocities. I don't know about boring, at least not for the people that were living here before. Wouldn't say it was boring for them. Red Dragon, should we do a death counter? Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm sure there will be deaths. Again, I'm not super good at the Souls games, and I haven't played Elden Ring in like 2 years. But by all means, if you have like a plugin or a counter thing for your stream and you want to keep track for one or both of us, do it. Record the shame for posterity. Lava King says, but once Old West came out, I was hooked hard on Old West. Yeah, you like studying the Old West. Time of cowboys. Rootin' tootin' varmints. I will go to... Oh, that is far too close. Whoops. Alright, we gotta move that. We need to move you down. No, that might be close enough. Yeah, there we go. Just flip them around. That's fine. All right. So now we have 2 production lines pulling plain filters. Could probably do another one if I really wanted to. The limited commodity is the crystals, and these are, what's the ratio? 1 to 2. So we have two sites doing the titanium glass and 1 with the crystals. So we could probably do 1 more. I'll think about that for now. We're gonna need a lot. We want to grab these. Lava King says, "Oh yeah, Doc. Remember when the Cold War got its 2 expansions of Vietnam and Cuban Missile Crisis? Korean War was around there somewhere too. And then the late model DLC, we had the Gulf War, Desert Storm, and then the Afghanistan War, which went on for far too long." Okay. Make sure the proliferation's going in. Yeah. All right. Let us take stock of what we have done. Not a ton of direct progress today, but we're working on the next major hurdle, which is going to be getting to green research cubes. Once we have the quantum chips in production, we already have the graviton lens, and so that'll be easy. We can fly over some of this from our warper facility. In fact, because I know we're going to need more of that, I'm going to start stockpiling that for now over here. Oh no, we got it full. I was thinking of these. Lava King says, "I thought Desert Storm was a solo title." And I was all hooked in. We never really got out of that whole development cycle in that area. It's always been a point of interest. Lava King says, "What's your opinion on the crime series Roaring Twenties?" Good music. Good OST for that one. Things are looking up until a very large economic disaster. I do like your narrative frame of like a video game summary of historical events. That's pretty unique, and I think it's a fun way to think about it. All right. So we're going to call it here. I'll just pause for now. Let me look up the homie list and see who's online. We will definitely be picking up with more DSP. I still want to do it weekly, at least until we get to the end game. We're in the later part of the game now, but we're not quite to the end. There's still quite a bit to do. Oh, let's see who's online. Oh, Mycelia's online. I've not rated her in a bit. Slay the Spire. We can go see what the sentient mushroom colony is doing. Lava King says the depression patch assets were not great. No. Hopefully we don't do that again. slay the princess, not slay the spire. I don't know what that is, but we're going to find out. So let's pause BGM. I'm going to mute you. And go to outro. So once again, we will stop here in Dyson Sphere and come back in the near future. It was definitely a good series of conversations today. So thanks again for hanging out and chatting with me. Like I mentioned, we'll be back Saturday, early-ish comparatively on Saturday, noon Pacific time, for some shenanigans in Elden Ring. So we'll put links in the Discord when everything is getting ready to go live, so you folks know where to go. But it'll be here and on Red Dragon's channel. So that being said, thanks again for hanging out. Have a good evening. Now let us go see how the slaying of princesses is going, as weird as that sounds. Let's do it.